What's up guys, it's Everett here, and in this video we're going to work on one of your quad muscles called the Vastus Lateralis. Now, a lot of people talk about turning on muscles or turning off muscles or getting rid of specific trigger points or unlocking your muscles. When we do what we're about to do, we're going to get a lot of stuff involved. It's not just going to be this one muscle, the Vastus Lateralis, but we're going to try to focus on that area. So the Vastus Lateralis is huge. It's on the outer sweep, if you know bodybuilding terms, outer sweep of the leg. And what we'll do is we'll do a little bit of foam rolling, which I usually don't recommend, but people seem to be doing it anyways. Again, when you're foam rolling, you're not getting rid of scar tissue. You're not turning off trigger points for the rest of your life, but we're going to use it to kind of teach your body how to isolate this muscle, contract and relax that muscle, and kind of decrease the tone of the muscle. Then we're going to go into our mobility training. We'll do some isometrics, some contracting from the FRS system. It's up to you, maybe a little bit of stretching. I'll show you the technique and the cues that we're always focusing on, just like we do when we back squat, but we also carry that over into stretching. There's unique cues to isolate and improve certain areas. So we're gonna go through all of that. So let's hop into it. So when we work on this outer quad, you can use a foam roller if you don't have one. Grab a tennis ball. I would definitely not go lacrosse ball. And with the tennis ball, you might need to throw a yoga mat or a towel over it because this is gonna get pretty intense. And we're gonna move really slowly from about halfway up the quad, maybe a little bit below that, all the way up to the hip. And again, we're gonna set up very intentionally. We'll do 2 minutes per side. Now, when we get set up, we're gonna be on the quad with the foam roller, just like this. And we're gonna need to rotate to the outside of the leg. So you'll wanna rotate your entire body. Don't just try to roll your leg. That's gonna do some odd stuff to your pelvis. So literally try to freeze up your body from facing forward to rotating the entire body up. So you have to use your hands in this, in my case, right leg to hold the position. And so once we have this position, we're just gonna go really, really slowly over this muscle. So right below the hip to, again, right about halfway down that leg, right where you see that, again, outer sweep start to end and you run into the flatter part of the quad or the upper thigh. Now, when you find a spot you don't like, what you can do is you can contract your hamstring and do a little squeeze up like this, little hamstring curl. And then as you straighten your leg, try to contract your quad, all right? So on a spot that feels a little worse than others, squeeze the hamstring, try to relax the quad, and then straighten the leg and contract the quad, just like you're doing a leg extension at the gym. And finally, when you do that, breathe in deeply as you extend the quad and contract, and then exhale and contract that hamstring and curl like that. So breathe in with the stomach, the diaphragm, contract, exhale, contract the hamstring, and relax the quad. So again, a little bit of very intentional foam rolling with that contraction here and there and deep breathing for 2 minutes. If you have that tennis ball, you're not gonna be able to roll on it, especially if you have something cover it. So just kind of move along the quad and try to find spots that don't feel that good. And then you can do that contracting and relaxing with the hamstring curl. So 2 minutes per side. So now we're in the couch stretch position. This is a very popular stretch. I didn't make it up, but the cues matter. It pays to know the technique for squatting and deadlifting and handstands. You have technique for your stretching and your isometric positions as well. So I've covered this in detail in other videos. Maybe I'll throw a card up here. But the long story short is if you just relax and get in something that looks like this position, I have bigger quads and I can lean all the way back here and not really feel much of a stretch. Most likely because I'm compensating with my spine and rotating my pelvis. So I want to get my ribs down, my low back neutral, breathe into my stomach using the diaphragm, lock that down. Hips, typically I want them nice and even so you can feel your hip bones. They're facing forward. And then when we're trying to hit this Vastus Lateralis, oftentimes I'll see the hips shift away from the leg you're stretching. So I want to punch these hips perfectly to the side and then lean back, all right? So get your mid-torso set up, get your pelvis set up, and you can do a 2-minute stretch here in this position. Start out lower and then ease into the stretch over 2 minutes. Now the actual contracting we're gonna be doing is very, very important. These are pails and rails from the FRS system. So I'm gonna be using my quad and then my hamstring to teach my body how to use this new flexibility. So an isometric is a muscle contraction with no visible movement. It gets really good neuromuscular connection, and it starts to put force on the tissues and prepare them to be used, but in a safe, very controlled position. So to start, we're going to use our quad to push the top of the foot into the couch or the bench. So it's like the leg extension we were doing on the foam roller. So I'm going to start with a very light contraction, 10%. Subjective, but I'm going to move up to 20% for me. And then 30%. At this point, I'm probably going to clench up my abs, my fists, my front leg. This will help me contract this quad better. I'm going to go 40 and 50%. Now you can take this all the way to 100% of your maximum contraction. I wouldn't do that right off the bat. Go to like 40 or 50%, all right? We're gonna hold that top contraction for 10 seconds. Don't move at all. Your face is probably gonna get pretty red. And then relax. And with a good position, again, increase that stretch just a little bit. So you can hang out here for 10 seconds or another minute. Now we're gonna use the hamstring, and we're gonna contract that hamstring like we're trying to curl the foot off the bench. This is gonna get very crampy. You might get cramp here. So if you need to move forward a little bit, open up that angle, do so, but we don't want that foot to be able to come off the bench. It's still an isometric. So again, ramp, kind of turn on that hamstring muscle, contract it, go to 20, 30, 40, 50%, hold for 10 seconds, exhale, relax. We're using all of our muscles to keep this good position and build up a contraction. Now, before you hop off the video, a couple important points. New range of motion is weak range of motion, which is why in part we do those isometrics. It's to train our body how to use that new flexibility. But on a larger scale, you don't want to do this and then feel great and go work out. Or be like, man, I've never felt this good. I'm gonna really go heavy on my back squat. Not a good idea. This is for off days and maybe after leg workouts. And just like you don't do leg extensions one workout and you have great legs, big strong legs, you don't do this once and have mobile hips. It is training. It's time under tension. It is teaching your body how to use this new range of motion and expand it the right way. Now going in with that, obviously this should help your efficiency in the gym, your strength, feeling better. But I see a lot of people who need to work on mobility and it's affecting their physique, their hypertrophy. So if you're walking around with chicken legs, there could be a number of different reasons for that. But most often than not, I see people who aren't actually using their leg muscles. They're compensating with other parts of their body to finish their lifts, and their legs are never growing. So making sure you have adequate range of motion and you're contracting your muscle through that entire range will actually help you grow your legs as well. So if you liked the video, please hit the like button. That's what it's there for. It helps the channel out. It helps other people find this video, which helps them as well. And if you're interested in this style of training for your hips, I've got in the description a full hip mobility course. It's on my website, 29 bucks, 16 videos long. So take a look at it. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.